going on, everybody, and welcome back to the God Eater lore series. If you guys watched a video I put out about a month ago, I talked about God Eater Resident Ops actually being shut down. And in one of the previous lore episodes, I had mentioned that, it'd be exciting to see what kind of story they're painting between God Eater 2 Raids Burst and this game, God Eater 3. So with that being shut down, the lore is kind of coming to a halt. So what I'm going to try to see is how much, they did flesh out, what kind of story pieces they did add prior to it being shut down, and hopefully we can make a full lore episode on that. But without further ado, let's jump right into this. So last episode we saw Ein stumbling and Theme mentioning that she hears, or maybe can feel, an Aragami crying like a child inside of him. And with that, we ended version 2.30 of the God Eater 3 updates. We open up version 2.40 with Keith and Neal's character episodes. So starting with Keith, we learned that ever since he was little, he never had much of an aptitude for combat. And this led him to always be relying on his brothers to protect and feed him. And the only way he could begin carrying his own weight was to performing maintenance and tune-ups on his comrades and even superiors, God Arcs, and other tools and electronics. For many other of our partners, most of them had something they were really and truly hiding that, in a sense, they weren't even aware of. When I thought about Keith, I wasn't really sure what that could be, if there would be anything like that. But through journeying through his residence area, it becomes clear that Keith was actually definitely hiding something.
But my biggest fear was the future, not the past. Resonance area data is supposed to be archived so the observee's abilities can be shared. That's the whole point, after all. But for me, that means other people will be able to do what I can do. If my knowledge goes out there, someone better than me will come along. I worry that when that happens, I won't have a place anymore.
However, he eventually comes to realize that it's not just about fighting to earn your place, but it's about supporting and protecting the people you care about, even if it's outside of combat. So from there, he vows to support everyone that is his friends and he cares about in his own way. And he vows to continue to improve himself so he'll be able to build a future together with everyone. Next came Neal. It was interesting to learn a bit more about Neal because from birth he was separated from Keith and Zeke, so we didn't know too much about him to begin with. After he was sold to Port Baran, he experienced the worst of humanity by the way he and his fellow Ages were treated. But when he was saved by the Crimson Queen, this showed him the potential for change found in Ages banding together for a common dream, which Werner Gadolin, the Crimson Queen leader, was striving and working towards building an age utopia where they could live and rest in peace. Ever since Werner Gadolin died, Neal has since moved on from being a Crimson Queen to becoming a member of the Hounds. Throughout the character episode, we actually learn that he was contacted by a former Crimson Queen member who is actually seeking to rebuild the group and carry on Werner's will or handed down dream of creating that age utopia. But after venturing into the deepest parts of his residence area, Neal makes up his mind, revealing that more than either of the dreams, he had to choose between what matters most to his dream. A dream that he actually now shares with his comrades in the Hounds.
I've decided that I'm still a Hound, and I work with you. It'll be a while before I meet up with my old friends again. Without Werner guiding them, they've lost their way forward. Even so, they're pulling together and searching for a direction. I want to build a place where they can live in peace. If I stick with you, I'm certain that we can make that happen. You want a port where everyone can live together happily, right? As one of the Hounds, I can ensure that utopia becomes a reality. And I want to help guide people who don't have a home to that utopia. just like Werner did for me. I want to be someone who can show others hope. I want to add my dream to yours. Will you take it on?
Memories keep flooding in, showing the paths I should have taken, but now the time has run away from me. I cannot change a thing. I remember how you counseled me with wisdom of the ages true. Live your best life, you told me, and you walked the earth at once, and now you've come to see me once again. I feel safe at last.
Hey, you got a sec? I want to talk about something. An anonymous mail addressed to the Hounds came in today. Keith's looking into it, but we don't know who sent it yet.
The path was altered, and it uses heavy encryption, so that means it pretty much has to be a port on Gleipnir or Baron's level.
But the problem is the message itself. Take a look at these. This picture, and data on Soma Shixel, one of the 3 sages of the Calamity. Plus documents suggesting Soma Shixel and Ein are related. In other words, the sender wants to tell us they're the same person. Ein is an extremely brilliant scientist. There certainly are similarities.
Before he was Ein, he was simply Soma Shixel. At the beginning of the 2080s, Soma, the world's leading expert on retro oracle cells, which are oracle cells that are pure and have not devoured anything, joins with Gosta Heidenstam, an expert in transmission engineering, and Josiah Kwan, a master of nanomachines, to develop Project Ragnarok. Project Ragnarok was a plan to use God Arc nanomachines, essentially nanomachine-sized God Arcs, spread out across the planet to destroy every Aragami at once. As a quick summary of the plan, nanomachines would be deployed at relay stations across the globe, including every Fenrir branch. And from here, there would be a central AI core that has human-level intelligence that would be able to manage the entire system, forming a planetary network of nanomachines that would intelligently target and destroy Aragami.
We need to postpone the testing.
How long do you estimate the delay would be?
Well, we're closely examining everything right now. It's already clear that core components will need to be redesigned and installed, though. All in all, we're looking at a delay of at least 24 months, including verification, and maybe up to 4 years.
Dr. Shixel, objectively speaking, I can see no clear flaw in the logic of your report. However, the problem you're describing here would only occur if the central core had human-level intelligence. Are you saying that the core you led the development for is capable of such a fantastic thing?
It's not conclusive. I'm only saying it's a possibility.
So you're suggesting we delay the project for an unknown possibility? That's ridiculous. Dr. Kwan, we should perform the test as scheduled.
That's crazy. You're willing to ignore the danger and still go ahead with the test?
Yes, yes. You've always seemed terribly afraid it would fail, Dr. Shixel.
Dr. Heidenstam, that's going too far.
Kwan inevitably relieves Soma of his authority in the project, and the next day, the test run is carried out, and the worst case scenario comes to pass.
Are there really no survivors? Someone! Answer me! What do I do?
Help me.
Run, now! Come on, I'll play with you some more.
The AI core escapes human control, and clouds of nanomachines erupt from every relay station, thus devouring everything they came into contact with and spreading death and destruction across the globe. The Ashborn followed swiftly in the wake of the Calamity, and after Soma is able to fight off the Infernal Lord, which is actually the Anubis that would eventually be defeated by the Hounds in Chapter 5 of the main story, he is forced to come to terms with what has happened.
It was always like that. I was with Soma, but I could never do anything. That time was the same. But now, for a little while, if I'm quick, I can eat Soma to save him.
Through his contributions to the project, ultimately he is the one responsible for the death and destruction of the entire world. Out of sheer luck, in spite of the destruction, one last communication channel remains open, and just long enough for Soma to be contacted by LINDOW Amamiya.
Do you read, Dr. Schicksal? This is LINDOW Amamiya at the Far East Branch. Damn it. There's too much interference. I can't hear a thing.
Hello, I read you. This is Soma.
Oh, I finally got through to you.
LINDOW, is that you?
Hey, come on, man. Don't sob into my ear like that. Anyway, I'm glad to hear you're alive.
LINDOW, tell me, what's the status of the Far East?
It's basically what you're imagining. That weird mist came out of nowhere and covered the whole branch in 30 minutes.
But are you all okay?
Yeah, I guess. We're all alive anyway.
I'm sorry. This whole terrible mess. I am responsible for all of it.
I see. Listen, Soma. I'll keep everyone I can reach safe. I promise. Got that? So keep living. Follow the path you need to. Solve this problem any way you can. Do you understand? Ah, crap. This is the last line still connected. It looks like we're about out of time.
All right. Then I'll leave the Far East in your hands. And I promise, I'll find a way to deal with this situation. Somehow.
Yeah. You do that, Dr. Schicksal. Once it's all done, we'll get a drink. See you, friend. Take care of yourself.
From that day forward, Soma called himself Ein instead. He said he'd keep being Ein until he could resolve the Calamity. Oh no. Looks like time is running out quickly. I really need to hurry.
These feelings of guilt would come and continue to torture him for years. So taking a step back, we learn of this full story by entering Ein's, or Soma's, residence area. And so when Fiend, at the end of the main story, performed the miracle of Urvasti, engaging with the whole of Northern Europe at once, the aggregate of Ein's oracle cells was granted a period of clarity, forming its own identity. The Aragami inside Ein essentially woke up and immediately understood the pain Ein was going through due to the feelings of regret and guilt he had held onto ever since the Calamity, and in the past when he's gone through pain and struggle. And on that day, it decided, with the little time that it had, it will save him. It would devour Ein from within and turn him into an Aragami, thereby freeing him from all the pain that had hounded him since the Calamity. Ein admits that there was a period of time that he did just want to run away, but despite that, he refuses to give in this time, recalling a long time ago when a dear friend told him to never give up on living. He renews his vow to keep on fighting until his dream is accomplished, and together with the protagonist, he vanquishes the last vestiges of doubt and guilt that had been holding him back. Together with the hounds, Ein formulates a plan to venture eastward through the foreboding and dangerous Crimson Ashlands, while constructing ports along the way to serve as relay points and refuges and safe homes for those in need, thereby unifying his dream with that of the hounds and cementing him as a true comrade. And with that, we come to the end of version 2.50 and the last update for God Eater 3. Just want to thank everybody for tuning in to this 6 long episode so far. But if you remember in that, I believe it was the first episode, I did mention I want this series to continue and really start exploring the other aspects of God Eater. The comment section can really be a place of discussion, questions, and things like that. So with that being said, if you guys have any suggestions or wants of areas we should dive deeper in, I was thinking of, what's the one girl's name in God Eater 2? Dr. Rachel. Diving deeper into her mind because she was very crazy, talking about the anime maybes, things like that. Really anything God Eater story related. Put your comments and thoughts. Put your thoughts in the comments. But other than that, that's all I gotta say. Sucks that we're no more God Eater 3. I know in the last episode, nowhere in the comment section mentioned that a burst version of this game would just make a lot of sense. And when you hear and watch the end of God Eater 3, that update, right, what we just talked about, it really sounds like it. Like we could at least progress a little bit into the whole idea of making it to the Far East. And actually, as I was making this video, I had the idea and thoughts of like God Eater 4 starting with the Far East branch again, right? And we actually meet up with the hounds eventually, right? That would be really, really cool. From there, I don't know, I feel like the hounds wasn't as loved as the first unit and even the blood unit when we think about the fan base. So maybe that could begin drawing a better line between them. I don't know, but yeah, that's all I gotta say. So hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I don't want it to sound like it's ending because I do have a plan for the next episode, so stay tuned for episode 7. It'll be a little bit of a surprise what we're talking about, so I hope you guys look forward to it. So other than that, that's all I gotta say. Be sure to leave a like, drop a comment, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.